and board members, Ms. Sherilyn Patty, Ms. Kathy Leavenworth, and Dr. Bill Beers. Next is our superintendent, Dr. Anthony Potagill. And Mr. Joseph Mueller, principal.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the graduation commencement of West Geauga High School's class of 2002. My name is Jennifer LaCava, and this year I served as senior class secretary. As we begin tonight, I'm reminded of our 8th grade graduation. We had finally made it to that top level of the middle school, only to realize that as we took that next step, we were again starting at the bottom. As we sit here tonight, we're all thankful and relieved that again we were able to make it to the top. Most of us can't wait to move on because as we take those steps across the stage to receive our diplomas, we are also taking our first steps into the real world. No longer are we just in high school, we are starting our careers, whether it be in college, the armed services, or in the workforce. We may not yet be on our own, but we are prepared to make our marks on the world. Seated before you tonight is an amazing group of students. As a class these past 4 years, we have experienced so much. We have seen destruction, tragedy, and heartache in our nation, community, and even in our school. Yet, because of this group of students, I believe that there's hope. They have amazing strength to pull together and to be strong, to put aside fears and lend a helping hand, and to lift their heads and be proud. I know that as we move on, we will succeed. Our class has many people to thank. Our families for their unending love and support, our teachers for their guidance, and all of those people who gave us inspiration, whether they knew it or not. Even though there are also many others, I would like to thank my classmates and peers. Thank you for your efforts in and out of the classroom that made us great, for your personalities that helped to shape our class, and for the experiences that we have shared. As you take those steps, good luck. Even though we may just be starting out, we have a lot to back us up. So now it's time to graduate. First, I would like to introduce the senior class's Vice President, Jessica Stacy. She will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you all please stand to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing.
Good evening, and again, welcome. At this time, we are going to have a slight change in this evening's program. In addition to participating in their graduation this evening, we have 3 young men who are members of the class of 2002 who, with diploma in hand, will continue to represent West Geauga High School at the state track meet in Dayton, Ohio, tomorrow afternoon. In order to give them a head start on their journey to Dayton and get them good rest, we will present their diplomas at this time. Gentlemen, please step forward. Mrs. Gilmore.
Jason M. Rerka. Dean Michael Thornton.
I'd like to bring you greetings from the West Geauga Board of Education. 2 of our board members, Kathy Leavenworth and myself, were sitting on this board at the time your children were born, just to put things in perspective. And during that time, we've been providing an outstanding education, changing as the years go by to meet the needs as they change in our community and in our country and in our world. Through tradition and innovation, we've provided your children with a top-notch West Geauga education. We welcome you here tonight, the parents, the grandparents, the friends, the teachers, and the students of the class of 2002. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome. Well, I certainly can't tell you that I was here when your children were born. I was here when they were in 5th grade. That counts. It's really been a pleasure and a wonderful year for the West Geauga schools, and particularly this class of 2002. Seeing the school district this year be recognized as one of 46 school districts in the state of Ohio as an excellent rating from the state of Ohio, and we were truly blessed and deserving of that honor. It saw us receive national exposure with our academic decathlon team, our Destination Imagination team has done won awards across the country, and we won many state and regional championships in a number of academic areas. We're certainly very proud of all of those things. On the other hand, it's also been a very challenging year for us. As Jen said, the tragedy on September the 11th certainly pulled us all together, not only as a school community, but as a community in Chester and Russell. We also, unfortunately, had 2 tragedies this year. One was one of our students, Patrick Brady. One was one of our staff members, Patrick Ambrose. And I'd ask that you join me with a moment of silence as we honor those 2 individuals. Thank you. We learned much this year. We learned that we each care about each other in very unique ways. I think we found that out on 9/11. We also learned that we need to come together as a group in order to accomplish many things. The events and the participations of our lives really have a profound effect on who we are and what we do. You know, it isn't just what the senior class has done this year. It's a reflection on what they've done K through 12. For those, I wish everyone could have had an opportunity to be at the high school on the day that the students put together a memorial for Patrick Brady. And it was very apparent at that time that all of the events that these students, and they shared with themselves, their family, their community, all had a profound effect. Either something they shared in kindergarten, on a bus stop, at a trip, playing baseball over the summer, at the middle school, at the high school. All really become part of their being and are a reflection of who they are today. So I would like them, the class of 2002, although this is a memory tonight, is to really reflect back on those memories that you've had leading up to this evening, because for those of you on stage, they seem a very long time ago. For us as parents and friends in the audience, it seems like a blink of the eye. Tonight is an evening to celebrate. Celebrate as a community, celebrate as a school. Certainly to celebrate as a family, and for those of you on stage, to celebrate as individuals. I want to congratulate the class of 2002 for being excellent role models, for bringing the school recognition, and allowing us to be part of their lives as educators through that process. I wish you good luck and well in the years ahead. Congratulations, class of 2002. We have a special presentation this evening, and at this time I would ask that Dan Stafford, representative of the Alumni Association, class of 1980, please come on stage. Earlier in September, the legislators passed a law allowing school districts to recognize World War II veterans who unfortunately had their high school careers cut short for their service to their community and their nation in World War II. We were honored to find that we did have an individual in our community. Unfortunately, he could not be here tonight. I believe he is in Illinois, of all places, at the graduation of one of his grandchildren. And while he wished he was here tonight, he felt that that was more important for him to be part of that. So we will share with him his diploma this evening, and I would, on behalf of the Alumni Association, would like to present Mr. Jewel Deb Thomas's diploma, World War II veteran, West Geauga alumnus. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Dan Stafford once again, who does have some words of wisdom from the West Geauga Alumni Association. Dan?
Wisdom, huh? Okay. I would like to thank the administration for allowing me to speak here tonight. It is my honor to congratulate you, the class of 2002, as you graduate, and welcome you into the ranks of the West Geauga alumni. And you thought you were done. At this moment, you are looking forward to your future with your hopes and dreams. I would like to share the stories of some West Geauga alumnus who achieved their hopes and their dreams. 2 weeks ago, the West Geauga Alumni Association inducted our class of 2002 into the Alumni Hall of Fame. Two of the graduates, Mariano Ferrario and Brian Currit, both from the class of 1992, spent the last 10 years climbing to the top of their sport of freestyle skiing. Each qualified for the Olympics and placed themselves in the world stage, quite a leap from the hills of Chesterland's Alpine Valley and the West Geauga High School Ski Club. Our third inductee was Randall Hodgkinson, the class of 1972. Randy is a world-renowned concert pianist, having played throughout the United States and Europe. He has played with the orchestras of Atlanta, Philadelphia, Boston, Buffalo, and of course Cleveland. He can be seen on the stages of the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., Jordan Hall in Boston, and Carnegie Hall in New York City. quite a few steps forward from the lights of the West Yaga Middle School stage. And our final inductee was Gordon DeMarchi from the class of 1967. After college, Gordon returned to West Yaga to be a teacher, coach, and mentor to the students who attended the high school from 1972 through 1982. His enthusiasm and dedication to his community, his alma mater, and most importantly his students, was most definitely world class. Each of the graduates sat in your seats, anxious to move on and begin to fulfill their hopes and dreams. Now, as distinguished alumni, they reflect on the profound impact their education and experiences at West Yaga had upon each of them. You are now heading into the world with similar hopes and dreams as these men, and whether on skis, on a stage, or in a classroom, or wherever you go, we hope the best for you. Remember to make your effort world-class, and you will succeed. Be proud of where you came from. Take it with you as you pursue your potential. Congratulations, and good luck.
Our class elected 4 teachers that helped us throughout the years. I will speak of the first one, elected from Westwood Elementary School, and that would be Mrs. Nash. Mrs. Nash gave us the honor of writing the graduates a letter, and I would like to read it at this time. Dear graduates, I can't tell you how touched I am to be honored in such a wonderful way. What I wanted most of all was to be fondly remembered after my retirement, to be thought of when you're 40, and to be the one about whom you say, remember Mrs. Nash? How old would she be now? I wonder if she's still alive. The correct answer is she's 79, and yeah, she's still alive. Last week, I watched the video of Sundown, Oklahoma again for the first time since you were 5th graders. What a hoot! You are so tiny and so enthusiastic and so talented. I was so proud of you. And I'm proud of you still, all grown up and sitting here looking wonderful in your caps and gowns and ready to launch your future. Would you indulge me in 3 pieces of advice while I once again have you as my captive audience? Number 1, remember to honor God. You didn't get here on your own, and you know, and you can't do it alone, no matter what you think. Number 2, don't grieve your parents. No one will ever love you as much as they do. Number 3, don't be so consumed with getting and spending that you neglect your character. Be honorable in all that you do. Thank you for inviting me to share this special day with you and your parents. You are my favorites, and you better find me afterwards because I'll be waiting for my hug. After all, I've been saving up yours for 7 years. Much love, Mrs. Krabby.
The next teacher to honor is from Lindsay Elementary, Mr. Gentili, who taught 4th grade. Anyone here tonight who ever went to Lindsay Elementary surely remembers Mr. Gentili. He's the man that had a huge grin and a big hello for every person he passed in the hall. And that smile didn't disappear once he stepped into the classroom. Mr. Gentili kept his positive outlook all day, every day, which is one of the many reasons he is such a good teacher and role model for us all. Mr. Gentili mixed learning with fun in every lesson he planned. He was able to incorporate humor and excitement into his teaching while maintaining control over the classroom. This ability is extremely important in an elementary school teacher because elementary school was where we learned either to enjoy or dread going to school. Mr. Gentili made class enjoyable and really did make learning fun every day. He took an interest in the lives of his students and allowed us to know about his life. He told us about his two daughters who were only a few years older than us, so we were able to see him as a real person, not just a teacher. He created interesting projects for us to do, such as videotaping our own news broadcasts for our individual states in social studies. I can honestly say that I still remember facts about Rhode Island I'm not sure I'll ever use. His number one priority was to educate us, but we always had fun doing so. He made many assignments better by adding a game or sport to them. His favorite was always the Cleveland Indians. It's the little things, like keeping baseball cards we made about ourselves 8 years ago, that make Mr. Gentili a truly excellent teacher and show how much he really cares about both his present and past students. He has those baseball cards here tonight, and if you get a chance to see them, I certainly would. I saw them, and I'm glad to say we've all changed a little bit since 4th grade. Mr. Gentili also had a few things that he wanted the class of 2002 to know. He feels that being honored by his students is more meaningful to him than anyone could ever know. He's overjoyed to know that he has touched his students and made an impact on their lives. If anyone ever needs his help, he is still more than willing to give it and will do whatever he can. Personally, he sent me websites when he knew I was trying to choose a college. He also emails his former students when he sees their name in the paper or hears that they have won an award to congratulate them. These gestures are just more examples of the endless support he gives his students. Mr. Gentili's use of audio and visual aids, sports, and other games make him a teacher that none of his students will ever forget. He is concerned about his students, and it brings him joy when he sees them improving. He always has his students' best interests at heart, and that has not gone unnoticed. On behalf of the entire class of 2002, I want to thank you, Mr. Gentili, for all your dedication and time spent with us.
The next teacher we are honoring tonight is Mr. Cavassini, who taught history classes at the middle school. Mr. Cavassini, many of us here had the opportunity to have him in class as a teacher, and one look at him and you knew he was a wrestler, and you could always recognize him as he was bouncing down the hallways. And on a personal note, his energy and his enthusiasm and his great attitude make him very well deserving. He had a note for the class. To the graduating class of 2002, I would first like to thank you for inviting me here today. Being chosen by you as a teacher who helped create for you a positive middle school experience is a great honor for me. Being recognized by you is also a pleasant reminder of how truly blessed I am to have chosen such a wonderful profession. As you venture out into your adult lives, I hope that you are able to find your career niche and experience the enjoyment and fulfillment that I have received from working with students like you. I wish the very best for all of you in your future endeavors. Thank you, Mr. Cavassini.
Sorry about that. Our final teacher is from the high school, and that would be Mr. Rosati. While I have not had the privilege of having Mr. Rosati in class, I have the honor of speaking about him because I did have the privilege of spending time with him during football practices, which is one of his most passionate things. While I didn't have him in class, I've heard such stories that make him a memorable teacher. For instance, apparently he puts his chair on the desk and teaches that way. His ability to captivate an audience and keep them paying attention the entire time during the classroom, or as I've seen through the football team, is second to none. I've got a list of his favorites from the class of 2002. First would be his favorite nicknames: Slick, Buzz Lightyear, Megmaster Suplex, Emalaya, Van Vector, Adam T. Cornelius Smith, and Sweet Lou. His favorite fears: having Amanda Kozak, Ashley Bohens, and Josh Act in the same classroom, and shoot Stoffel gone mad. His favorite stories to hear: Rena and Jesse at the dry cleaners, Colleen Johnson family dinner, the dog included, and the many date possibilities of Matt Wood. His favorite memories: Sarah Komar singing the national anthem, seeing a healthy Christy Katzerstein, Brian Javorek down the backstretch, the big dog 73 yards later, and the smile that cannot come off Andrew Cezanne's face. For this last category, it's his favorite people to sing to. I'm not exactly the world's greatest singer, and seeing as it's your songs, I'm wondering if you would come up here and demonstrate for people.
Let's do it, Steve. You ready?
All right.
First off, Steve, we can't forget Desiree. Christy Kesterstein. We hear about the people in the town. We call her Volata. Whoa, 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 whoa. And then the last one, Kelly, remember, there is no Arizona. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the class of 2002, Mr. Azadi, we thank you.
At this time, I have the great honor of recognizing class honors for the class of West Geauga High School 2002. Our salutatorian medal this year, number 2 in the class, goes to Tom Mosberger. Valedictorian for West Geauga High School, the class of 2002, number 1 in his class, Chris Beers.
I'd like to introduce to you Chris Beers. He is our valedictorian this year. Chris has been involved in the music department at West Geauga. He's been involved in the band, chorus, marching band, and jazz band. He's also been in the Cleveland Youth Wind Symphony for the past 5 years. He is the NHS vice president and has been a member of the academic decathlon team for the past 2 years, which has gone to nationals both years. Chris also has participated in track and cross country. He plans on attending the University of Hartford next year to study acoustics and music. Chris?
"1984. George Orwell's famous novel is set for this year. Ronald Reagan is elected for a second term, and many of us are born this year. But 18 years have passed since then. Our lives have been shaped by our educators, friends, and families. We owe a great deal to the teachers, administrators, and coaches who have pushed us to do our best. We owe an even larger debt of gratitude to our families for their constant support. Although these adults have helped us to shape who we are and who we have become as individuals, we must also look at ourselves as a group. As a proverb says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. In the same way that educators and families have impacted our lives, other members of our class have influenced each of us. We have become one as the class of 2002, representing different people with varying viewpoints. We have shared bus rides, worked on homework together, gone on trips to Toronto, Phoenix, and Europe, and just plain grew stronger as a group over the past 12 years. This past year in itself has been amazing. As the class of 2002, we have felt the thrill of success with athletic and academic achievements. The football team advanced to the playoffs for the second time in school history. The mock trial team competed on the state level for the first time since 1996. And the bands came away from contest with impressive ratings and comments. There are many other examples of the success of our class, and as Mr. Mueller has constantly reminded us, West is best. Yet, this year has been very difficult. I'm sure that we will never forget being in homeroom and seeing the second airplane crash in the World Trade Center on September 11th. As a student body, we pulled through this tragedy. However, sadness had not visited us for the last time. The passing of Pat Brady and Mr. Ambrose have caused deep sorrow in all of us. Where can we find the spirit to celebrate graduation when we are constantly reminded of the shortness of our lives? Indeed, none of us know when our final day will be. This does not frighten me, for I have confidence in my faith in Christ. Regardless of religion, though, we should be inspired by the simple fact that we do not know how much longer our lives will last. We all too often undervalue each day. We must learn to appreciate every day, every hour, every minute of our lives. Life is certainly a gift, and we cannot take it for granted. West Geauga class of 2002, I urge you to seize the day. Carpe diem. Thank you.
This is the part of this evening's program where I usually make my remarks. I've learned over the years to be prepared. I'm prepared in several ways. I have a great affection and respect for the class of 2002. I do have some words. You also have been encouraging me to write a poem. Well, I have a poem, but it's not on paper. You can look, you won't find it there, but you smile or show that gleam in your eye, and you'll know every verse. You have been a wonderful group. I will leave you with some words later, but at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I would like someone else to have an opportunity to speak. One of the members of the class of 2000, who has been as outstanding as any member of the class of 2002. This year at Academic Decathlon, his speech was rated #1 in the nation and helped our team earn 8th place nationally among all academic decathlon teams. He will not recite his award-winning speech for you, but I would like for you to have an opportunity to hear him. Jess, would you please come up?
Thank you, Mr. Mueller, for giving me the chance to speak. I really appreciate it. And once again, congratulations to Tom and Chris, because they deserve every accolade that they get. Although tonight may seem like a daunting task, on this exact same night, 58 years ago, thousands of men crashed onto the shores of northern France, risking their lives for the cause of freedom. This kind of bravery and valor, the kind of bravery and valor that these men showed, is something that we as students don't think that we can attain. We equate bravery with saving people's lives or taking great risks. But looking backwards, we'll often find that we are just as brave and that we have fought many battles and we've come out as the victor. Certainly none of them were on the same level as the Normandy invasion, but tiny battles like walking, talking, and tying your shoes were the kind of battles that we fought. Battles like that may not be commemorized in monuments and holidays, but they're most important because they shaped our lives. Battles like the first time you rode the bus. Most likely you were out at the end of the driveway or street in your snappy new ensemble. You had the most popular cartoon character right on your t-shirt and probably acid wash cut-off jeans. You had your new backpack that you had gotten, multicolored of course, and it was empty because you really didn't need it in kindergarten. But there were some neato school supplies that you had just recently acquired and organized them the night before, and you were all ready to go. But when the giant yellow behemoth roared up to the stop, it stopped and hissed its air brake at you. And you were a little scared, but you kept on going. You climbed up the bus's steps, each of them seeming like they were 3 feet tall at the time, and you had to hold on to the little sidebar in order to scale it. But you scaled the mountain steps just to look down the aisle, and you saw that the seats were filled, and you really didn't have a seat. So you stood there and looked, and then the bus began moving before you had seated, and the bus driver started screaming about keeping the noise level down. Now, when you try to find a seat, and eventually you do, a fifth grader looks at you and tells you, the fifth graders sit in the back, the kindergartners sit in the front, and so you go sit in the front. But for a couple of years, you battle on, and eventually you become a fifth grader, and you get to sit in the back of the bus. And that was a battle and a victory. Or the time when you first bought lunch, when you were young enough and naive enough to believe that what they told us was the food actually was the food that you were eating. So you braved those scary lunch ladies who really didn't care about anything until you paid, and then you bought your lunch, the lunch of your choice. Whether you chose A lunch or B lunch, you were the cool kid. You had your plastic rectangle of canned fruit and your mashed potatoes fresh from the ice cream scoop. And if you were lucky, and it was an ethnic day, you got the shining glory, 2 hard tacos with your choice of toppings. But it was like you were on an episode of Saved by the Bell, carrying your tray back to your seat. And of course, along with purchasing food comes the food experiments, creating horrible concoctions out of the food, seeing if the legend about the hamburgers bouncing is actually true. And to those of you who threw caution to the wind and bought snacks instead of lunch, I salute you, brave rebels. For that was a battle and a victory. And don't forget the first time that you saw someone vomit in school, or you yourself did. Oh, you may balk at the idea, but for everyone here, they have a story about it. Whether it was uncooked food in 6th grade geography, the flu, or an 8th grade honors breakfast, everyone here has a story. It may not seem appropriate to bring up at this occasion, but it is a memory, however scarring. And watching that happen and not vomiting yourself is a battle and a victory. Of course, another battle that you faced was the first time you opened your locker. They lined the hallways when we first entered middle school on that summer day for Conquer Your Locker Day. There were these blue shiny objects that went all the way down the hallway, and they had just been installed because the construction was going on. And it may have seemed like we were deprogramming a bomb at the time, but most people got through the process, and they were on their way easily. This battle was nothing. Everyone except for me. My locker had recently been painted, and the paint had created a chemical reaction that fused the metal layers together, rendering the locker unable to be open. But when Mr. Dingman hit that locker very hard with a hammer and it flew open, that was a battle and a victory. And in middle school, there was that Civil War-like battle between Lindsay and Westwood kids. There was that uneasiness as we both eyeballed the kids from the wrong side of Mayfield Road. I can remember as a Westwood kid thinking, geez, where did they get these Lindsay kids from? And I can remember the Lindsay kids staring at us going, how did these Westwood kids get so good looking? It's true. But soon we were able to battle our sense of fractionalization, and we created relationships that span the distance of Westwood and Lindsay. And because now we don't call each other by Westwood and Lindsay, but we just call each other friend, that was a battle and a victory. And with middle school came our first school dance. You walked in looking as though you had just stepped out of the cover of a fashion magazine. The windows rattle with a loud bass, and you think you hear the loudest noise you've ever heard coming out of the speakers. And as you go to throw your coat on the giant pile, where you know you will never claim it again, you realize that the room is so filled with cologne and perfume that it was like Calvin Klein exploded. But as asphyxiated as you were, you fought onto the dance floor, where the girls were dancing to the music and having a fun time, and the guys were uncomfortably standing in the corner, or pushing each other like it was a soccer riot. But then, the magical slow dance would come on, and you'd muster up all your prepubescent suaveness and ask someone to dance. And as you two awkwardly slow danced so far apart you could actually be in different time zones, you realized that that was a battle and a victory. And then high school came, and it seemed like every day was a battle. There was always something challenging us, a foe to vanquish, like an essay or a presentation or a book to read. And sometimes we were defeated by sleep. But every day there was a new scandal, topic, obstacle, embarrassment, adventure, or crisis that would test our limits, only to be dwarfed the next day by our next crisis. And there were battles that we won and battles that we lost. We fought with teachers, we fought with friends, and we fought with ourselves. And they weren't always victories, but they always made us stronger. And since it's our last year, we would think that all our battles had ended. But instead of our battles being the first times, they were the last times. The last time eating lunch in the cafeteria. The last time at the football game. And sometimes there were battles that you didn't even know happened until later. Like the last time you talked to Mr. Ambrose was a battle. The last time Pat made you laugh was a battle. The last time Mrs. Morris talked to you about the most interesting thing in the world that wasn't remotely related to your question was a battle. And walking out of school for the last time was a battle. And walking out of here is our last battle that we get to face together. So tonight, when we're supposed to look back and reminisce about how arduous our journey was, we're confronted with events that show us how trivial our troubles have always been. But even so, I ask you to look back at your battle scars in bad haircuts and sleepless nights and pop quizzes and realize that you were tough and that you fought on bravely. Each battle has shaped you and has made you the person that you are today, the person that I will miss and the person that all of us will miss. So when we leave this battle tonight, just remember that the battles that lie ahead are just as conquerable as the ones that we've fought together. Thank you, everybody. Good luck.
Thank you, Jess. By the way, everybody clapped at that Westwood good-looking joke. Half of them believed you. The other half thought, great joke. You know, as you think back, graduates, on those battles that Jess mentioned in his remarks, tonight proves to you that the battles that you thought you lost, you won, just as well as the ones that you know you won. We've shared many memories over the past 4 years, those battles, those defeats, and those victories. Triumph and personal setback, joy, and unfortunately, sorrow. We've developed many special relationships over these years. Through them all, I'm very proud to have had the opportunity to be associated with such a fine group of young men and young ladies. I've watched you grow up. You've enriched my life, and I am grateful for the time we've shared. As you leave this evening, I will send you off with these parting words. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may the good Lord hold you in the palm of his hand. Congratulations. Dr. Potagil, members of the board, family, friends, and guests, I certify that the candidates you see seated on the stage before you this evening, having completed all of the requirements of the West Geauga Board of Education and the State Department of Education, qualify for the diplomas they are about to receive.
Diplomas being presented by Dr. Beers. Stephen Lewis Guy. Jessica Ann Stacy. Jennifer Ann LaCava. Amanda Lynn Makar. Christopher J. Beers. Thomas Mosbrugger. Gina Francis Barilla. Jess Robert Burkle, diploma being presented by Kathy Leavenworth. Whitney Graham Cole. Mandy Lynn Horvath. Aaron David Shoemaker. Jeffrey Robert Wilson. Stephen Alapovic. Katrina Elizabeth Albanese. Melinda Lee Allen. Julie Rose Amantia. Alicia Ann Andrews. Danielle Marie Era. Meredith Eileen Ashkettle. Coco Bannenberg, foreign exchange student. Courtney T. Becker. Dan Bergman. Christopher Blank. Ashley Marie Bohens. Jennifer Ann Bremick. John A. Burjack. Duncan Burris. Denise Ann Butler. Desiree Ann Carciopolo. Gina Marie Sefarati. Nicole Marie Salabucky. Roberta Ann Chapman. Jacqueline K. Christensen. Andrew Joseph Semino. Louis Anthony Sereno, excuse me. Andrew Michael Suzanne. Stacy Combs. Nicolette D'Ambrosia. Jennifer Florence Daddario. Joshua Adam Daniel. Amy Lynn Davis. Devin Davis. Jason J. Dix. Michelle Jean Dilly. Matthew Downing. Jamie Lee Duffy. Diplomas being presented by Kathy Leavenworth. Joshua Abraham Echt. Nicole Marie Eierman. Peter Martin Eiler, foreign exchange student. Kelsey Lynn Fellow. Elisa Angelica Fiorito. Adam Michael Lewis Fisher. Jamie J. Franchino. Patrick Ryan Fraser. Gregory Clark Fruits. Jody Lynn Gabram. Scott Matthew Geither. Rena Marie Gentili. Matthew J. Golias. Erin Elizabeth Gombach. Rachel Riley Gore. Andrea Therese Gorjans. Jason Anthony Grassi. Mitchell Alexander Greger. Catherine Ella Gruden. David J. Geierman.
Carrie Ann Hannig. Matt Hanigman. Brian William Householder. Carlene Renee Robot. Megan Ann Imarino. Christopher Brian Ice-Dennis. Christopher Christopher Paul Johnson. Colleen Ann Johnson. Richard David Johnson. Karen Marie Joyce. Mark DePriest Cargis. Christy Katzenstein. Hallie Marie McGinty Kiefer. Alexander Kinney. Catherine Ann Kasicki. Amber James Klein. Tracy Christine Cleve. James Lee Koenig. Sarah J. Komar. Michael Kovacic. Creighton J. Kovacs. Amanda Lee Kozak. Alicia Minette Kuntz. Lindsay Nicole Kutzko. Scott Andrew LaTourette. Nicole Laycock. Kevin Lightman. James Lipford. Nicole Lynn Lippy. Catherine L. Lloyd. Kristen Douglas Long. William Lubelski. Diplomas being presented by Mrs. Sherry Lynn Patty. Lisa Ann Maletic. Kyle Derek Manning. Derek Edward Manty. Matt Markel. Ryan Allen Marshall. Allison Jade Martin. Matthew Theodore Masick. Brian Michael McCarty. Brian John McGarry. Jason Aaron McElwain. J. Michael McIntyre. Michael David McMurtry. Mark William Megla. Gretchen Elizabeth Medcalf. Brittany Benet Miller. Lauren Ashley Mitchell. Kelly Michelle Morgan. Sean Moriarty. David Matthew Mraymore. Diploma presented by Mrs. Pamela Mikowski. Victoria Lauren Mullins. Monique Rose Massara. Dana Nevar. Christopher Nide. Lauren Ashley Noble.
Jillian Nicole Parker. David Paternini. Ryan Patty. Joseph Pavlonis. Julia Lynn Peltz. Lisa Ann Pollard. Kelly Marie Purcell. Diplomas presented by Ms. Mikowski. Ivan Braddis. Christina L. Raquet. Christopher Stewart Reach. Patrick J. Riley. Jessica L. Rex. Megan Elizabeth Rogers. Patrick Rogers. Shannon M. Russell. Tessa Russell. Katie L. Ryan. David Mark Rezatarski. Leah Nicole Sambula. Christina L. Schaub. Kelly Michelle Schaffert. Amy Justine Schill. William Todd Seabrook. Silvana Settles. Keith A. Sharaba. Daniel V. Schaber. Anthony Shipley. Mary Shishala. Christopher Sipos. Emily S. Sixt. Vincent Michael Slusar. Adam Smith. Benjamin Solomon. Eric Steendalen. Michael Stroh. Jonathan Lee Stumpf. Drew Solzer. Patrick Solzer. Natalie Marie Sutter. Samantha Joanne Sutter. Diplomas presented by Miss Gilmore. Lisa Marie Tano. Lawrence Tarka. Sarah Elizabeth Tausch. Nicole Marie Thibodeau. Linda A. Toth. Benjamin J. Trivet. Nicholas James Trevisano. Adam Xavier Urban. Alexander Vainstock. Christina Marie Vallada. William Scott Verdine. Nicole Ashley Vitale. Nicole Ray Weber. Allison Nicole Weiskopf. Ashley Marie Weiskopf. Matthew D. Wood. Christopher John Roble. Thomas Joseph Yoger. Nancy Elizabeth Zabel. Jessica Rose Zach. Matthew John Zoller. Ryan Charles Zuzi.
I am the class president, Steve Guy, and yeah, so I'm just going to hurry along these closing remarks because all these guys are ready to get out of here. In life, it is said that everything comes around into a full circle. Realistically, it would be better said that life is made up of small circles that touch and make up a larger whole, but no circle the same as the other. High school is one of these circles. Never again will we come back around to high school, and never again will we share the same experiences we've had with each other. A more proper and bolder saying would be that life goes on. For some of us, high school was as good as it gets. The Friday night football games, the homecomings, participating in sports, the parties, prom, friendships, and many other first-time experiences. However, just as all great things do, those times, that circle, must also come to an end. Some of us are ready for this end. That's because we don't view it so much as an end, but rather a new beginning. By the end of this summer, we will have found that a new challenge lies ahead of each of us. This challenge is a greater first experience than ever imagined. We'll be semi on our own for the first time, but just as many of us always have, we'll look to you, our parents, for guidance. We may even still look to you for a place to live. The difference for us will be that there won't be teachers telling us get to class, someone to hound us to do our homework, and no suspension points to keep us on our toes. In high school, we rushed to copy homework that wasn't done, joined as many clubs as possible to try and help better our school, and some of us built our lives around trying to make sure we didn't make people mad, and then everybody liked who we are. Others couldn't care less about any of that. What we all learn now is that none of that really does matter. Soon, if we have not already, we'll find that upon entering the rest of the world, we cannot do everything. But that's all right, because no one can. We'll find that you can't make everyone happy. And maybe someday, we'll learn that things can't be rushed and things can't always be put off. The greatest thing we can learn is that if we fall, we can get back up and still succeed. but we can't throw away our second chances. A lot of people say that high school is about friends. While our friends do play a large role in our life during high school, it's not really about them. It's about you, the individual. High school gives us a chance to develop our own personalities, but not necessarily finalize them. We tend to forget that we're still young and that we're permitted to change. In high school, just like at any time, the friends often come and go. But each person we come in contact with helps us to become who we are by giving a little bit to each of our personalities. Through years at West Geauga High School, we've been witnesses to many events. Some of them tragedies, some of them good memories. Events like these will always bring us back to high school memories. Memories that at first may remind us of horrible things such as 9/11. But no matter what, we will always be brought back to our days in high school and then the memories of the good times. If we cannot escape such memories and continue to revert back to high school, then possibly this is only part of one large circle. Any way it is perceived, it's time to close the chapter titled high school. Whether it was a small circle or just something part of a large circle, we've made it to graduation, and now it is time for us to part. I leave you, class of 2002, with this final thought, a quote from Jerry Springer. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
Don't turn it until I present the class. Go ahead. Bring them up, Steve. Go ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, the West Geauga High School graduating class of June 2002.